Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. With round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs beginning tonight, time of this recording, it is about 6 p.m., so in about an hour, round 2 will begin. I thought I'd go over the new round 2 playoff cards that will increase based on wins in the series and then winning the overall series as well. And we'll recap the first round of the playoffs, and I'll give you my predictions for round 2. All right, let's get into it. All right, guys, I just want to go through, before we begin, in terms of the cards available, how you actually acquire these cards, the Stanley Cup playoff event sets, and then you can go over to round 2. Once you're in round 2, along with all of the new MSPs, you will see a 0 for 34. It will cost 34 Stanley Cup playoff collectibles, and you will get a round 2 choice pack, which is only going to give you an option of 1 of 2, meaning that if you wanted a certain card, there are 8 teams there that you can get a card from to choose. I'm going to be very clear here. EA has no idea when it comes to the actual perceived value of the content they put out. That's not to say I'm sure they are aware of what each card is worth. However, in their economy system, they are not able to change it as it appears. Because if you were to actually go and make this set, it's going to cost you about 170,000 coins. However, let's say you wanted to go and actually just buy the card when it gets, boosted to 95. And again, I'll show you all of the cards. They will be 95s if they win the series. However, if you wanted to just go out and buy it, these cards are going for like less than 100,000 coins for the 94s. The 95s are not going to be that much more expensive. And that's going to allow you to buy the card that you want. So please do not make those sets. They are a complete ripoff, and I pray that they just find a new way to do content in NHL 24, but that's for a whole other topic. All right, on to the choices here. We've got the 89 Thomas Tatar 5'10", 173 from the New Jersey Devils. Again, these will start at 89. For every win, they will go up 1 overall. And then if they win the series, they will get another 2. So for a total of 6, they will go to 95 overall. Now, 5'10", 173. Again, please just forget about the meta and what makes a card great, because you should just be using the cards that you enjoy at this point in the game. That really is like my thesis on it, because at 5'10", 173, he's obviously not going to be what you would consider a meta card. He has Silver Unstoppable Force and Gold Close Quarters, which is an awesome combination, but if you're a New Jersey Devils fan, this is a card that I would recommend you getting because you are a Devils fan. Brady Shea from the Carolina Hurricanes, 6'3", 210, 90 acceleration and 91 speed. For anyone that does care about trying to build and get the most value and competitiveness out of cards, again, I don't recommend that, but this one could be half decent if it goes up to 95 overall with the Carolina Hurricanes, because he should get about 4 speed. That'd be about 95 acceleration, 94, and he's 6'3", 210 with Silver Shutdown, which is definitely usable. So this could be a pretty interesting card. Justin Schultz from the Seattle Kraken. I cannot believe we are talking about the Seattle Kraken in round 2. Unbelievable for them. 6'2", 190, right-handed defenseman with Silver Seeing Eye. Again, same kind of situation as Brady Shea. He's got mid-90s speed if they do move on. And who knows? No one really had them picked to go up against Colorado and win, and here we are. I do want to point out, though, this card only has 87 body checking, so while he is 6'2", 190, he's not going to be able to really throw anyone off the puck at this stage of the game because everyone's got Unstoppable Force or the behemoths. Sam Reinhart from the Florida Panthers, even more shocking than the Kraken, in my opinion. 6'2", 193, Gold Third Eye, which is a useless ability, and then Silver Unstoppable Force. I don't know who Sam Reinhart did dirty, but 87 speed and 88 acceleration, even if they do move on against the Toronto Maple Leafs, that is tough in May. So, yeah. Anyways, Brayden McNabb from the Vegas Golden Knights. I hope he isn't hurt. I saw rumors or a report that he might miss some time in this series. He's got Gold Shutdown, which is great. Silver Elite Edges. Same situation, though. At 6'4" for 215, he's got great size. 88 speed, 87 acceleration, even if they move on, is going to be absolutely brutal, which is just tough to use, and it kind of sucks the fun out of it a little bit, unless you're a Vegas Golden Knight fan or you're just a Brayden McNabb fan. Ryan McLeod from the Edmonton Oilers comes up next. He's got brutal synergies. Gold Crease Crasher. I think if you go for rebounds, this could be fun to try out. And then obviously Close Quarters is awesome. This might actually be a really fun combination for anyone still playing and messing around with playstyles. He's 6'2", 207. Already has 93 speed, acceleration, and agility. If the Edmonton Oilers move on to 90. He will get boosted up to 95. We're looking at maybe like 96, 97 speed on a 6'2", 207 player. That's pretty sweet. That'll play. That will play. Ty Dellandrea from the Dallas Stars, protector in Dangle City with Make It Snappy and elite edges. 6'1", 195 center. He's got 85 faceoffs. If they do move on, his skating will be low 90s, and I mean, I guess at least his faceoff rating would be up to 91 as a center. We talked about this in the last round in terms of the players they choose for this event. I get it; it should be the lower, the guys that don't get as much love on prime times or team of the weeks. However, why not Roope Hintz here? He just, I think, set a franchise record or an all-time playoff record for most points in a series. Roope Hintz, man. Come on. Let him in here. No disrespect to Ty Dellandrea. And then we've got the 89, TJ Brody from the Toronto Maple Leafs, 6'2", 187. Silver elite edges and silver gold elite edges. 90 speed, 90 acceleration, 90 agility. Again, kind of in the middle ground of speed. It is decent size at 6'2", 88 body checking. So if you are a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, I would try and go out and grab him. Again, it won't be too expensive because the cost, again, doesn't seem to be all that much because there's so many, I think, because they get pulled a lot all throughout the event. And it's obviously easier to pull this in an MSP. But yeah, I would not do the sets at all, guys. All right, now let's talk predictions. Okay? I gotta eat it. Round 1, 4 out of 8. Pretty tough there. I don't think anyone has a perfect bracket, and if you do, man, I would love to know your betting lines. So, obviously, let's talk about the ones I was correct on first before we get into how bad I missed on some of these. Edmonton over LA, I had them in 5. That obviously went 6. Got a little scary. Jack Campbell had to save the season, which is incredible, but there is just no keeping Draisaitl and McDavid at bay, and I gotta be real here. I think the best forward tandem in the NHL to handle McDavid and Draisaitl was the LA Kings with Kopitar and Danault, and they did slow down McDavid for a portion of that series, but they couldn't slow down Draisaitl, and I don't see how Vegas does. On to the other conference final in the West. I had Vegas over the Jets in 7. The Jets ran out of gas. They looked strong early in the series. I really thought that they would be able to push it to 7 just because of the goaltender matchup with Hellebuck. But apparently, according to Rick Bowness, the Jets just have no fight at all. And, man, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Anyways, Edmonton versus Vegas. I am going Vegas. Edmonton. They are my Stanley Cup pick. I think that they just look like they are doing everything they need to in terms of their depth guys showing up. Hyman going up big. The only concern is Stuart Skinner. There was some times there. I mean, he didn't perform well against LA in the grand scheme of things. Campbell had to come in and legitimately save their series or season because they would have gone down 3-1. That would have been tough. That being said, I think on the other side of things with Vegas, equal question marks with Laurent Brossoit. He played well enough against Winnipeg, but no disrespect to Winnipeg. You're about to go up against probably the best offense remaining in the playoffs, and their power play is absolutely devastating. I'm going to say Edmonton in 6 because going into Vegas, even though I am not a fan of Vegas at all, any stretch of the imagination as a Sharks fan, I have been to T-Mobile Arena multiple times now, and I don't know how you can win multiple games at home or on the road there, as it is an absolute madhouse. So I will say they win 2 at home, they lose in 6. Edmonton moving on to the conference final. In the other side of the Western Conference, I was completely incorrect. I had Colorado in 5. It is Seattle just gives first season Vegas vibes right now where it is a complete committee. It goes to show you, we'll talk about this in a little bit. It goes to show you that hockey is not a sport in which you can just bring in big names and them just take over the game because those players are really not available. The ones that can actually take over a game are usually not available at all to be moved. I'm thinking of like Nathan McKinnon or, Connor McDavid, for example. And when you work by committee and you go as a complete team and everyone is contributing, it just goes to show how well you can do. On the other side of the thing, I mean, Colorado, they were hurting. They limped in. They still had the firepower, and they couldn't get it done in 7. I mean, Nathan McKinnon did everything he could. It would not surprise me with an early exit this year that they get Landeskog back. Whatever happened with Bauer and Shushkin, they get healthy. It would not surprise me at all to see Colorado in the conference finals next year. I think that this was just a team that went in a long playoff run last year. A lot of hockey. They lost. I mean, by the end of it in Game 7, they had 2 of their top 6 remaining from that Cup team. That's just very difficult to do. No excuses though. I mean, you got to be able to take out Seattle just because of you're reigning Stanley Cup champions. You've got some of the best players in the world. On the other side, Seattle. Incredible. Philip Grubauer just turned his whole season on its head. He had, I believe, a sub 900 save percentage in the regular season. And the crazy thing about goaltenders is they are a replaceable position in the sport, but they can flip it on a dime in the playoffs and completely eliminate a top-end team. And you see that all over the place. I'm thinking, Akira Schmid. Seattle moving on. They are going to be taking on the Dallas Stars. I had Minnesota in 7. I just thought that, I don't know. I thought there was something to Minnesota. They ran out of gas and completely their center depth was decimated. And Dallas, man, obviously with Seattle eliminating Colorado, it's a completely different type of series because Dallas is not reliant on one line. They can roll multiple lines. They're getting Pavelski back, and in all honesty, they probably have the best goaltender remaining in the playoffs in Ottinger. So I think this is the Cinderella story of the Seattle Kraken ends here. I'm actually going to go Dallas in 5. I think that all games are close, but I just feel like Dallas is going to hum, and they've got a real good shot to make it to the Cup as well. I think that it's Edmonton versus Dallas in the conference final, and that'll be very difficult for Edmonton. But nonetheless, I think it's going to be Dallas in 5 games. On to the Eastern Conference, one of the biggest upsets that we've seen, well, I mean, in a few years because of the Columbus against Tampa Bay. But my goodness, Boston just, as a Sharks fan, I know what this is like where you dominate the regular season, and then unfortunately, it really doesn't matter at all until the playoffs. That sucks. I think that Bergeron playing with like a broken back essentially, and it's sad, man. That got me. I'm not a big Bruins fan at all. I haven't been ever, but seeing Bergeron, do the hug and the lineup and all that, I think that he's gone. That sucks to see. You don't want to see that. Boston's got a lot of questions. That's for a whole other, maybe a topic on the podcast. Florida, Matthew Tkachuk. My hatred for Matthews appears to be unfounded. I was a little early on that, if you watch the podcast. Matthew Tkachuk is a top 5 player in the NHL. Maybe that is a hot take. I think I would rather have him than Austin Matthews, and I apologize to Leaf fans. I want the Leafs to win. I am a Leafs, supporter this playoff run. I don't know. He is the perfect playoff player. He is what Tom Wilson wishes he could be. And no team can handle him. However, I think that the Leafs, I don't know. Congrats to Florida. Moving on. Let's talk about the Leafs and Lightning. I'm trying not to get all over the place here, guys. I apologize. Leafs get it done finally. I had Leafs in 6. That was correct. Bang. I also had Boston in 6 against Florida. I actually thought they would give him some games, so I was wrong there. Toronto in 6. I called completely correct. Love that. They were able to get it done. Stunning. My favorite part of this series, again, I want to see the Leafs win this year. I have no dog in the fight. My Sharks are, their Stanley Cup is on May 8th. I really want to see the Toronto Maple Leafs win a Stanley Cup for my old man, and I've had a lot of fun watching. For anyone out there, if you've got a family member or some friends that are, maybe you don't hang out with anymore, and you are fans of a hockey team, go and watch. Man, I've had so much fun the last 2 weeks watching the Leafs with my old man. That's something I didn't get to do a lot over the last few years, and I really appreciate that. Anyway, sappy story aside, Toronto versus Florida in the second round. It is so weird. I live in Southern Ontario, have my entire life. There is no narrative going into this. There is no Toronto loses game 1 and Canadian media explodes, and the hockey world does, that this is it, the Leafs can't get out of the first round. They exercise those demons. However, what was looming was the Boston Bruins and the narrative that they can't beat the Boston Bruins. That isn't going to be there either because they're playing Florida. So it is like the playoffs are starting for the Toronto Maple Leafs because how the fan base reacted, how the GM reacted, the coach, the players, they all reacted like it was their Stanley Cup because of how much pressure is on them to get out of the first round, and they finally do that. And while, yes, it is over the top, you also have to understand that that team hasn't seen that in 20 years. So, spare me the, Leafs fans are idiots because they're celebrating a first-round win with a cup. If you are one of those people that is making fun of the Leafs for celebrating like that, you are probably also one of the people that are the loudest on social media making fun of the Toronto Maple Maple Leafs and their fans for choking in the first round every year. So, anyways, I think there is no narrative. This is completely new ground for the core. I have said this since 3 years ago. I think when Toronto finally wins a series, I think they go to the Cup, not necessarily win it. They won the first round series. It is a far easier matchup in Florida than Boston. Even though Florida did beat Boston, and technically that makes them the better team, there is no demons that they have to deal with that they clearly did not deal with well over the last decade. I think it is a very similar matchup to Tampa Bay because Tampa plays harder than people recognize or want to, state. And, obviously Matthew Tkachuk is going to be a load. There's no stopping him, and that'll be interesting. The goaltending matchup, though, is the issue here. Florida didn't win that series because Bobrovsky or Lyon came in and just played lights out and stole the series. It was really Matthew Tkachuk dragging them to that an incredible comeback in multiple games. Because I don't really have any faith in either goaltender. Samsonov, until Game 6, looked scared. And Toronto got outplayed in honestly 5 of the 6 games in totality against the Leafs or the Lightning. And I don't think we've seen the best Leaf team yet. And I think we do in round 2 because there is a lot. It's going to sound weird that there is less pressure. There is for the Toronto Maple Leafs team. I think they win in 5. I don't know why, but I'm going to stick to my guns that I've said this for 3 years, that when they win a round, they're going to go on a cup run because now they know what it's like to win a round. They have that experience a little bit. And I think Florida, that was an emotional 7 games. It is just different. And not to mention, they didn't get Boston at full strength. That isn't an excuse. Boston choked. But they didn't get Boston at full strength. So Toronto seems to be humming. It wouldn't surprise me if they lose. But I think I'm going to say Toronto in 5. Then on to our last one. I got Carolina versus the Islanders, completely correct in 6 games. I got New Jersey, the Rangers wrong. I chose the Rangers in 7. It was obviously Devils. So Devils, Carolina. This is weird. I got to go to Carolina this year for the same series game. I also got to go and experience a game in PNC Arena earlier in the week, and I was blown away by their atmosphere and their fan base. Very passionate fans. However, it is very localized. I feel like not many people care about the Carolina Hurricanes outside of Carolina. That being said, I had them go into the conference. I was pretty confident they would go to the conference final because they are so well put together on the back end and their goaltending is very strong and just the way they play. However, you lose Svechnikov and then Teravainen's gone. It is now a team that you take away a team that wasn't amazing at scoring goals, and now you're making them even worse. You're going up against a Devils team that, if it wasn't for Akira Schmid, would not be here. They came back full marks for them to come back against the Rangers. If Carolina was full strength, I would honestly say this is over in 5. I think that New Jersey is just going to dominate the league soon. The fact that they have the 2 best defensive prospects in all of hockey and they are going to make less than $1 million for 3 years is just... Anyways, I think that the Devils' time is coming. I think that their win against the Rangers was awesome for them as a franchise. The Rangers. The Rangers example is what I was making earlier about loading up and getting top-end players or trying to get top-end players and then no time to gel and no chemistry, because that's what it looked like adding in Tarasenko, Kane, and all of that in the Rangers squad. But that's for a topic for the podcast. In this video, prediction-wise, I am going to go New Jersey in 6. And again, if Carolina was healthy, I would honestly choose Carolina in 5, I think. I'm going to say New Jersey in 6 here, and I also, homer pick, would love to see New Jersey make the second round because the Sharks get a second first-round pick in the Meyer deal if they do. So there you have it. Second round, I have Edmonton against Vegas in 6. I have Dallas over Seattle in 5. I have Toronto over Florida in 5. God, that feels wrong. We're going to stick to it. And then I have New Jersey over Carolina in 6. There you have it. Let me know how wrong I am in the comment section down below. I'd love to fight with you guys. It's been real. I'll see you guys next time. Go Leafs, go.